Kia ora, good evening, and a very warm welcome to all our veterans and whānau tuning in from across Aotearoa, New Zealand and around the globe. I am Brett Tewhioro, a veteran like you, and it's my privilege to help you find your way around this online event and introduce our speakers tonight. The information provided to you tonight will be in response to the many questions you have asked us at Veterans Affairs. Thank you. As part of registering for this online event, we have been inundated with questions from our veteran community. We've grouped the questions into topics, and our speakers tonight will be addressing those topics. You may not hear your specific question, but in coming days and weeks, we will be providing answers via our Facebook page. For those watching live on Zoom, if you have any questions that you would like answered, please write it in the Q&A function you see on your screen. We have a team here working behind the scenes who will try and answer as many questions as possible. This event is being streamed to our Facebook page, and you will have access to the recording on the Veterans Affairs Facebook page in a couple of days. On the screen, you will see our website address and our 0800 number. We're only a free phone call away Monday to Friday between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce the Acting Head of Veterans Affairs New Zealand, Marty Ella. Marty.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome to this online event, designed specifically to address some of the many queries and the commonly asked questions that we here in Veterans Affairs have received from veterans and their whānau living in Aotearoa and around the globe. Wherever you are tonight, I hope that at the end of the hour you'll have a better understanding of the supports and entitlements that may be available to you. Firstly, to our veterans, thank you for your service to our country. To our veterans' spouses, partners and whānau, thank you for the support that you provide to our veterans. And to everyone, thank you for tuning in. I'd like to take a moment now just to acknowledge all of those veterans who have passed on since we last gathered virtually in February of this year and face-to-face in March in Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland. Losing a mate or losing a loved one is never easy, and I also acknowledge those left behind. Ka maumahara tonu tātou kia rātou. We will remember them. Tonight's online event provides us an opportunity to address two topics that many of you have asked about: processing times for claims and the provision of VIP services. The team will speak to this shortly. I hope that you enjoy the hour. We'll be asking for your feedback in coming days, so don't forget to tell us what you think. It's my pleasure to now invite our MC, Brett, to deliver our opening karakia.
Thank you, Marty.
Thank you, Brett.
E te whānau, whai te matauranga kia marama. Kia whai take ngā mahi katoa, te maia, tūkaha, aroha atu, aroha mai. Tātou, ia tātou, katoa. For this gathering, seek knowledge for understanding, have purpose in all that you do, stand tall, be strong, let us show respect for each other. As I mentioned earlier, we'll have a panel of speakers tonight from Veterans Affairs New Zealand, and they'll be covering the following topics: processing times for claims, veterans pension, VIP services, qualifying operational service and qualifying routine service, support for our spouses and our children, service of cemeteries, plaques and burials, the medical conditions that eligible veterans can get support for, and finally, the Commemorative Fund. The first question tonight I have to Anne-Marie Tribe, our Manager, Applications and Entitlements. Anne-Marie, why is my claim taking so long to process?
Kia ora. I want to acknowledge the concern and frustration about this situation. I'm really sorry about the impact that the delays are having. Our service is not at the level that we want to deliver, and it's well below what you, our veterans and whānau, deserve. Our claim wait times have been hugely impacted by the steady increase in the number of claims that we are receiving. An example is January to March 2022, we received 469 claims in that period. January to March this year, that had ballooned out to 807 claims. That's a 72% increase. In addition to our usual BAU claims, Over the last 18 months, we've also received over 1,000 claims from Vietnam veterans or their spouses for an ex gratia payment, and so our people have been working on those as well. The ongoing pressures across the health system has also meant it takes longer to get medical information that we require to actually assess our claims. This is not just that the specialist appointment may be scheduled many months into the future, but also with the reduced availability of specialists, it can take several attempts at making referrals to get one appointment. Fundamentally, our issue is that we've not been able to keep our staff capacity levels up to match the increase in the claims being received. What we've been doing to reduce the wait times while this has been occurring is we've been recruiting and training more staff, both in our application support team and also our decisions team. We've been improving our processes to work more efficiently. We've had an upgrade to our claim management system, and the improved functionality has meant that we can actually process claims a lot quicker, as we have less manual workarounds. We are checking claims when they first arrive to identify what information might be missing, and we're requesting that up front so that there's no delays further down the track. Because of the volumes of claims we have in progress, we're not always able to handle them on a first come, first action basis. We've prioritised them based on veteran situation and the impact of the claimed condition. Our urgent claims are actioned on the same day that they're received, and they maintain an urgent status throughout the whole claim process. Some claims that are given an urgent status are mental health claims, terminal illness claims, claims that are income related, and also any claims where a claimant is experiencing financial hardship. Many of our applications come in and are missing some of the important required information, and it does take a lot of our time following that information up. So if you are looking to put in a claim, these are things that can help move your claim along quicker and reduce waiting time for others. Please make sure that your doctor or specialist confirms the diagnosis and that all of the supporting medical information is sent in with the application. Check that you've signed and dated the form. That's one of our, strangely, a common thing that occurs. If there is a useful checklist at the bottom of the form, and if you could use that, it's really helpful to show you what steps to take and the documents that are required for your claim. When we do get your claim, we'll confirm that we've received it. While your claim is being assessed, it's really important that you continue to obtain treatment from your GP or other medical practitioner. If your claim is accepted, the entitlements will be backdated to the date that we first received your claim. While you are waiting for your claim to be assessed, if your circumstances change and the delay is affecting your wellbeing or your financial situation, please get in touch with us. I hope this has been helpful. Back to you, Brett.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Remember, you out there can also type a question while you're online, and our team here will reply to you online. Next question is to my friend Luke Spence, one of our case managers. Luke, how does a veteran's pension differ from New Zealand superannuation? And are there any benefits attached to the veteran's pension that are over and above New Zealand superannuation?
Kia ora, Brett. It is really important to discuss and establish the differences between the veteran's pension and the New Zealand superannuation. Firstly, in order to receive a veteran's pension, you must be 65 or older, a New Zealand citizen or permanent resident, have spent at least 10 years in New Zealand since you turned 20, and 5 years in New Zealand since you turned 50. You also need to have served in the New Zealand Armed Forces and have qualifying operational service. The veteran's pension is paid fortnightly at the same rate as the New Zealand superannuation. Now, in terms of the extra benefits available on a veteran's pension rather than the New Zealand superannuation, these include the following: automatic qualification for a community services card. There is no reduction in your payment if you need long-term hospital care. After your death, your partner and family may be able to get other financial help, such as the surviving spouse or partner pension. When you pass away, your spouse or partner will get a lump sum if you have been assessed with a whole person impairment rate of 52% or more, and you have either a disablement pension, independence allowance, or lump sum for permanent impairment. If you have a spouse partner who is getting the veteran's pension in their own right, you may also be eligible to receive a lump sum payment on your spouse partner's death. The final point I want to clarify is that the veteran's pension is administered by the Veterans Pension Centre through the Ministry of Social Development, as opposed to the disablement pension, which is administered by Veterans Affairs for service-related medical conditions. Thank you. Back to you, Brett.
Thank you, Luke. Next question I have is to David Jonke, our Manager, Business Services. David, why do VIP services take so long to be put in place? And how does Veteran Affairs know if the work has been done?
Thanks, Brett. It's a bit of a double-barreled question, so what I'll do is answer each specific question separately here. So the service and assistance provided under the Veteran Independence Program is well received by our veteran community. Currently, we have over 7,000 people receiving support under the program. We know it's also very popular, and we have seen an exponential increase in requests for these services. Growth over the last 2 years from around 5,000 people receiving one or more service to over 7,000 today. Currently, the average wait time is between 4 to 5 months. Though these services are not an entitlement and are not considered urgent, I do acknowledge that this time frame is longer than what I would like it to be. There is quite a bit of work to arrange VIP services from the initial request to commencing the services. Some of this work includes creating an initial profile and registering the veteran, verifying their service history, conducting a needs assessment, confirming what support may already be in place through other agencies and liaising with them. That's all before we get to the process of making a decision and the approval to put those services in place. If services are approved to be put in place, we then send a referral to the relevant service provider and receive a confirmation of acceptance of that referral back. We also send written confirmation to the veteran of the services that we've arranged on their behalf, and that's a Your Plan letter. The service provider will then also contact the veteran within 5 working days. Unfortunately, as you can see, there's quite a bit of work required to put those services in place, and unfortunately our resourcing has not been able to keep up with the demand. However, over the past 6 months, we have been undertaking a piece of work to remedy this through efficiencies and allocation of resources to ensure that the services arranged meet the intent of the Veteran Independence Program, and that these services going forward aim to be put in place within 2 months. So that's why it's taking so long. In regards to how do we know that the work has been done, as I mentioned before, when we send a referral to the service provider, we get a confirmation back from them confirming that they can put that service in place. From there is a range of robust quality assurance measures, both from our service providers and Veterans Affairs. This includes, from the service providers, specific apps and other measures to ensure that the service that they've been asked to do is being completed by their staff or contractors, such as an app that is time-stamped and geolocated, that they can then upload a before and after photo of the work in one situation. They then report that information back to Veterans Affairs regularly, and we meet with them to review the performance of the contract on a monthly basis. Any exceptions of service that's that they haven't been able to deliver are reported, followed up, and a reason why it hasn't been. It should be noted that for various reasons, not all of the VIP services will be able to be delivered 100% of the time, and that may include resourcing of our service providers, availability of the veteran, weather and other events. What I do want to assure people, though, is that no services, we do not fund any services that are not delivered. I hope that's answered that question. Over to you, Brett.
Thank you, David. Very informative. My next question is to my old mate Gerard Wood, a veteran who is our Senior Project Coordinator. Gerard, what is qualifying operational service, and why would an ex-service person who deployed overseas not have it?
Well, thanks, Brett. In New Zealand, we are fortunate that we only have two groups who have qualifying service under the Veterans Support Act of 2014. Internationally, other veteran support agencies have more complex structures in place. The first group are those who served in the Defence Force prior to the 1st of April 1974. For this group, we provide the equivalent of workplace cover for conditions and injuries which occurred during their service. There are no automatic entitlements for this group. After the 1st of April 1974, members of the Defence Force have had their routine workplace cover by ACC, or more recently by the New Zealand Defence Force Accredited Employer Program. The second group are those with qualifying operational service. This means your deployment was covered by a declaration of qualifying operational service made by the Minister. You can easily check if you have qualifying operational service by using the Check Your Eligibility tool on our website. All deployments with declarations are built into this tool. If your deployment isn't there, you don't have qualifying operational service. The threshold for the Minister to make a declaration is very straightforward. Firstly, the Minister must be satisfied that the deployment poses a significant risk of harm to the members deployed. And secondly, the Minister will declare the deployment to be operational service, and that is different from business as usual. The Minister will declare the area of the deployment, whether it's land, sea or air, or all three, and the period of the deployment, the start and finish dates. The declaration is made on the recommendation of the Chief of Defence Force, who will have been advised by Defence Intelligence and the Strategic Commitments and Engagements branch of his headquarters. This is an important point, so please note that decisions to make a declaration of qualifying operational service is not the responsibility of Veterans Affairs. The factors considered are listed in Section 9 of the Veterans Support Act and are both operational and environmental, and they are a lot broader than the definitions used in the previous legislation. If the risks are reduced after the declaration is made, then it can be cancelled, and all declared deployments are on our website. It's important to note that the risk factors leading to a declaration of qualifying operational service are not linked to medallic recognition. You can receive a New Zealand Operational Service Medal, but the deployment you were on may not be linked to qualifying operational service under the Veterans Support Act. An example of this is those who have served and are serving with the United Nations Command Military Armistice Commission at the demilitarised zone in South Korea. Since 1958, personnel serving there received both the New Zealand General Service Medal and the New Zealand Operational Service Medal, but they do not have qualifying service. Likewise, for those of you who received the New Zealand Operational Service Medal for service in Southeast Asia from the 1st of February 1959 to the 31st of January 1974, you do not have qualifying operational service, as there were no declarations covering that service. You also need qualifying operational service to receive the Veterans Pension and Veterans Gold Card, as Luke explained just before. So please use the Check Your Eligibility tool on our website to determine if your deployment was covered with a declaration. If you don't have qualifying operational service, we ask you not to just give it a go and apply for a veterans pension from the Ministry of Social Development. They're already pretty busy, and they have to contact us as we are the confirming agent for their qualifying operational service, and that in turn slows us up. My last point is to remind you that all the information you need to determine your qualifying operational service is available on our website. Back to you, Brett.
Thank you, Gerard. That was great. I'm going to ask Luke to join us again to answer the following question. Luke, what support is there for our spouses and our children?
Thanks, Brett. Another good question, and something I'm very happy to speak on, as Veterans Affairs does have numerous supports in place to support spouses and whānau. The first entitlement that comes to mind is the surviving spouse pension. This is a fortnightly payment available to spouses if the veteran had qualifying operational service. We also have the children's bursary, which is available for the undertaking of study at secondary and tertiary level. The child is eligible to apply for a children's bursary each year until they turn 23. The children's pension is also available to children of Scheme 1 veterans under the age of 18, plus the dependent's pension, which provides financial support to the dependent of a veteran. We also have counselling services for whānau and friends, which is also available if the reason for the counselling is in relation to the veteran's service. Additionally, we can provide up to 6 sessions of counselling for spouses and children of Vietnam veterans. The impact on their own mental health must be a direct result of the veteran's Vietnam service. For Scheme 2 veterans, we also have the Survivors Grant, which is a one-off payment available to the spouse or partner, children and dependents of a deceased veteran whose death relates to Scheme 2 qualifying operational service, occurring after the 1st of April 1974. If you would like to discuss any of the information I've talked about and any entitlements, please do not hesitate to give us a call or visit our Veterans Affairs website. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. As always, very useful information for our online audience. Just to remind us all, to our viewers out there, a lot of information available on our website about entitlements. Website address is on the screen now. I'm now going to invite David back to answer our next question. David, can I be buried in a services cemetery when I die?
Thanks, Brett. That's a really important question and a question I get asked a lot. Currently, there's 183 service cemeteries throughout New Zealand. They're a special place of remembrance to honour and recognise our veterans' service. Eligibility to be buried in a service cemetery is specified in the Burials and Cremations Act 1964. It states, members of His or Her Majesty's service who have been on operational service and their spouses or partner. Their spouse or partner. It should be noted that Her Majesty's services does not include the Merchant Navy or Mercantile Marine or the police force. It should also be noted that because it's Her Majesty's services or His Majesty's services, Commonwealth veterans who also have qualifying operational service and the same deployment that New Zealanders were involved in are also eligible to be buried in a New Zealand services cemetery. Specified operational service is declared by the Minister for Veterans, but specifically declared in regards to the Burials and Cremations Act. The actual authority who has the authority or responsibility to approve those to be buried in a services cemetery is the local authority or council. Now, there is a process in place if someone passes away to confirm whether they're eligible to be buried in the service cemetery, where their funeral director can get a copy of their service history very quickly and present it and apply to the council. What Veterans Affairs involvement is to assist the council to clarify whether that service was operational, and also to assist the local authority with the maintenance of the service cemetery. If you would like to confirm eligibility beforehand, you can request a copy of your service history from the New Zealand Defence Force Personal Archives and Medals team. That will be able to then be presented to the council, and you can confirm that you are eligible to be buried in a services cemetery. It should be noted that the council may not be able to pre-allocate a plot depending on the local bylaws for cemeteries that are in place. Following on from this query, eligibility for a plaque or headstone is linked to those that are buried in a services cemetery. Veteran Affairs can fund a plaque or headstone, will fund a plaque and headstone for anyone buried in a services cemetery. And from 2016 onwards, we are also able to contribute towards a memorial for those people who are eligible to be buried in a services cemetery, but for whatever reason are buried elsewhere in a public, private or urapa. There is more information about who's eligible to be buried in a service cemetery under the Remembrance section on our website. Or alternatively, please feel free to contact Veteran Affairs if you are uncertain. Thank you. Over to you, Brett.
Thank you, David. We've received a number of questions about what kind of medical conditions can we support. I'm going to invite back Anne-Marie to give an overview of accepted conditions. Anne-Marie, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Brett. Okay, there's no list of conditions that can or cannot be applied for. Veterans Affairs, however, can only provide support for conditions that are caused by a veteran's qualifying service. So if you've been diagnosed with an illness that you think may have been caused or contributed to by your service, then you can absolutely apply to us for support. Our decision-making framework includes current medical and scientific information relating to the known causes of medical conditions. So what we do is we'll assess whether there could have been exposure to any of those known causes for that claim condition during a veteran's qualifying service. Where a veteran served, what role they held, and how long that period of service was will all be considered during that assessment. Once we've established there would have been exposure to just one of the known causes, we will accept your condition as being service-related. An example could be that you've developed cataracts. A known cause of cataracts is exposure to intense sunlight for a certain period of time. If you served in Vietnam, for example, for a year, it's likely that you would have been exposed to the amount of sunlight that would cause or contribute to the development of cataracts. We would then accept your condition of cataracts as service-related, and you would be eligible to receive entitlements under the Veteran Support Act for that condition. I hope that's been helpful. Back to you, Brett.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Ladies and gents, we've received a number of questions about our Commemorative Fund. So I'm going to ask my old mate Gerard to join us again and tell us about the fund. Gerard, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Brett. The Commemorative Travel Contribution is a lifetime one-off grant of $2,500, which is available for international or domestic travel that commemorates or celebrates your service. You need qualifying operational service, and the travel needs to include travel to the place where you undertook that service or to a reunion event or event that is linked to that service. Obviously, tourism has not kicked off well yet in Afghanistan, so there's no need to travel there. But as this is government funding, it needs to be appropriately accounted for, and it is their way of them saying thank you for your service. There is a requirement for that travel to include a commemorative component. If your application contains details of that component, there should be no difficulty in giving you your contribution. If you don't use the full amount, you can make further applications up to that $2,500 limit. And so far this year at Veterans Affairs, we've funded around $200,000 worth of commemorative travel contributions. There's also commemorative project contribution funding available. The project needs to be New Zealand-based and commemorate service personnel's contribution through qualifying operational service. The projects can be either a reunion event, a memorial that is open to the public, a publication, or an educational program open to New Zealand students, or funding for some parts of the New Zealand Invictus Games participation. The maximum contribution for a commemorative project grant is $5,000. Back to you, Brett.
Thank you, Gerard. We now have our final question, and I'll ask David to rejoin us for this one. David, why are our phone lines only open from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m? And what is the Veteran Support Centre?
Thanks, Brett. It's another two-part question, and in this situation I think it will be beneficial to answer the second part first. So, what is the Veteran Support Centre? Some of you will be familiar with a very important team at Veteran Affairs, our inquiry line. They are the first port of call to respond to initial queries, give information, advice, and also to direct to complex queries to the right parts of our business. 2 years ago, we commenced a trial pilot team of our VIP services team to specifically look after and arrange for the services for the, at the time, 3,000 veterans who did not have a service-related condition. That trial was really successful, but what we did notice is that there was a bit of duplication between the work that they were doing and the work that our veteran support, our inquiry line team were doing. We also saw an opportunity to enhance the frontline service delivery and provide a improved service to our veterans. So what we have done is currently in the process of merging the inquiry line function and the VIP services team into a single combined, better resourced veteran support centre. This would provide a one-stop shop, still be that service delivery first point of call for all queries, as well as being able to arrange the services for those under the VIP program. So that's what the Veteran Support Centre is. In regards to the phone hours, historically we're Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Over the last 6 months, they've been reduced temporarily to 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday. This was necessary whilst we go about implementing the Veteran Support Centre with recruitment, training of new staff, cross-skilling and upskilling existing staff. We also noticed that 95% of all phone contacts came between the hours of 9 till 3. By shortening the hours to that temporarily, we'll be able to implement the Veteran Support Centre and also carry out the important follow-up work that's required in regards to the VIP services. This will be reviewed in the near future. I hope that's answered the question there. Over to you, Brett.
Thanks, David. We have a few minutes up our sleeves, so I'm going to go back to my mate Gerard here to answer the following question we received from our online audience. Gerard, is there any advantage to signing up to Veteran Affairs while you're still serving?
Oh, that's an easy one, Brett. Yes. By registering with us while you're still serving, you can more easily access those things you're automatically entitled to with qualifying operational service. These include the commemorative travel grant of $2,500, which I just spoke about, funding for your transitional health checks when you do cease service with the Defence Force, having your New Zealand Defence Force health provider helping you with applying for recognition of any health issues related to your qualifying operational service, and getting access to our social media. And most importantly, if you do need assistance from us when you have transitioned out, we already know you and we have confirmed your qualifying operational service, so we can respond to your needs more quickly. Having as many as possible registered from a particular deployment may also help to identify if there are any trends or patterns in applications, signifying the need for specific monitoring. This is why declarations are made by country and not by specific mission. Eventually, we do hope to have automatic registration with Veterans Affairs when serving personnel first obtain their qualifying operational service. Thanks, Brett.
Thank you, Gerard. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the questions for this evening. We hope you have found this event helpful and informative. I'd now like to invite back our Acting Head of Veteran Affairs to provide some closing words. Māori.
Thank you everyone for joining us online this evening. Please stay safe and take care wherever you are. I and all of the team at Veterans Affairs are really looking forward to continuing to serve you throughout 2023. Brett, I'd like to invite you to deliver our closing karakia. Thank you.
Kia tau tō manaakitanga, ki runga ki tēnā o tātou. Kia piki te ora, kia piki te maramatanga. Kia hoki pai atu, kia hoki pai mai. Tūturu whakamaua, kia tīna, hui e, taiki e. Settle the care and protection upon each of us. May the health and understanding grow. Return well to others and ourselves. Hold fast to your authenticity. Be firm. Join together. Gather together. Bind as one. Before we leave you tonight, I again encourage you to go to the Veteran Affairs website. There's a lot of information there and an online tool to check your eligibility. This will let you know if us here at Veteran Affairs can support you. We're only a free phone call away, Monday to Friday, or you can leave a comment on our Facebook page or contact us via our website. Please never hesitate to make contact with us. We are here for you. Stay safe, stay well.
Thank you.